Hi, y'all. Thanks for joining us tonight. We're really excited to start our monthly RecTalk series back up this semester. And tonight we're going to be talking a little bit about how to stay active through a pandemic. We're going to talk with some professional staff here at Duke Rec and PE about how they have adopted their programs to fit our COVID restrictions, as well as some of their personal stories about how they've remained active throughout the pandemic. If this is your first time joining us, welcome. We're excited to have you. RecTalks are informative and influential discussions with experts in their industries of sport, recreation, and physical education and wellness. They're hosted by Duke Rec and PE, but we're sponsored by Hydro Flask. Our goal with these is to provide resources and information that promotes the physical, environmental, and mental well-being of our global community. Again, a special shout out to our sponsor, Hydro Flask, for supporting these discussions. Quickly, at the end of the session, you'll receive a poll, and this will give you a chance to provide some feedback on today's discussion. Make sure you fill that out so you can be entered in a raffle to win a prize from our sponsor. Awesome. I'm really excited to introduce our panelists for tonight. They'll do a quick introduction, tell you a little bit about themselves, and then we'll jump into some questions. So Emily, why don't you kick it off for us?
Sure, thank you. Welcome. I'm Emily Scotchless. I'm the Assistant Director of Facilities and Reservations. I take care of daily operational items in the facility and the facility staff, as well as dealing with all of the reservations that come through, the requests for spaces, all of our indoor and outdoor spaces. And a lot of risk management plays in with the job as well.
Thanks, Emily. Abby.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Abby Schaefer. I'm the Director of Aquatics. I've been at Duke a little over 5 years, and I oversee all aquatic operations at Tashoff Aquatic Pavilion and Brody Aquatic Center, everything from programming to working with the staff and making sure the pools are scheduled properly. It's great to be here.
Thanks for being here, Abby. Maria, why don't you tell us about yourself?
Hi, everyone. I'm Maria Finnegan. I'm an instructor in the Department of Health, Wellness, and PE. I teach 6 courses every semester. They're activity courses, and they range from yoga to stand-up paddleboarding to weight training to fusion fitness for women. And I am so glad to be here tonight. Thank you.
Thanks, Maria. Leanne.
Hey everyone, thanks for joining us. I'm Leanne Garstecki and I'm our Director of Fitness and Wellness. I've also been at Duke for a little over 5 years. Abby and I are on the same page with that. So everything fitness comes under me. So personal training, group fitness, small group programs, fitness assessments and things of that nature are everything that I do.
Awesome, thanks LA. Brittany Burris.
Hey y'all, my name is Brittany Burris. I am the coordinator for intramural sports, and I joined the Duke Rec team in the summer of 2019. In my primary role, oversight in all of the intramural sport programming, and then as well as our student staff positions, which consist of scorekeepers, supervisors, and officials for our intramural sports.
Awesome, thanks. Other Brittany.
Hey, I am the other Brittany, also known as the coordinator of sport clubs here at Duke. Like the other Brittany, I've been here for about 1.5 years now. I oversee all of our sport clubs. So we have 34 sport clubs that are a little bit more competitive externally than intramurals. And so our clubs travel locally, regionally, nationally, and internationally. It's a great option if you're looking to stay connected to sport when you come to Duke, or if you're already at Duke.
Thanks, Brittany. And last but not least, TJ.
Hey everyone, my name's TJ Beasley. I am the coordinator of Outdoor Adventures, and I oversee our equipment rental program for camping equipment and sports equipment, and then also our trips program, and then I help oversee our climbing wall.
Awesome. Thank you all so much for being here. For the folks in the audience, just a couple things to note. Down at the bottom of your screen, you should see a Q&A. So if you have any questions for any of the panelists at any point throughout our conversation tonight, go ahead and drop those in there. We'll be monitoring those and answering them for you. Awesome. Let's kick it off. I'd like to start just by hearing a little bit about you all personally and how you've been managing these difficult times. We've all built a career around recreation, sport, wellness, and physical education. So obviously this is a big part of our lives. So I'd love to know what's something that you've done personally to maintain your personal, physical, and or mental well-being over the past year. Maybe something that wasn't as relevant in your life pre-COVID, that you've maybe rediscovered, or whatever it is that you feel has been most impactful for you during this time. And we'll just open it up. Whoever wants to jump in.
I'll go ahead and get started. I guess it wasn't like a new passion that I rediscovered, but just utilizing the outdoor areas with everything being closed. My husband, dog, daughter, and I tried to get outside as much as we could. And we really used this opportunity to explore new areas in Durham. We had kind of our go-to spots, but this gave us a chance to go outside those go-to spots and find those awesome outdoor places that are right here in Durham. And I don't know, I find it really important to take that break from work, get away from the computer screen, go outside, even if it's just the backyard. Outside, being outdoors really saved me.
Yeah, agreed, TJ. I'd say we're probably all spending a lot more time behind computer screens right now, so it's more important than ever.
I will go next and kind of piggyback off what TJ said. Getting outside and just going for walks, even where I live, just for even 15 minutes to break up the day, was something new. Just go outside, walk for 15, maybe 20 minutes, come back in, do more work. I think there's so many benefits just to being outside, especially during this time. So that was really huge. But the second thing was trying new things. So talking more about like physical well-being, group fitness classes online. So many people were offering them, not just us. But that's something, even as the fitness person, I want to be in the weight room. I don't do a lot of group fitness. And so without that as an option, I was kind of forced into that. But it was really nice to try something new and different. And, the brain likes new and different too. So it doesn't just impact you physically, it impacts you mentally as well. So that was my new thing to go to.
Yeah, most definitely. I'd imagine there's a lot of folks that are in a similar position where working out at home just wasn't for them, and now that's maybe what they're forced to be doing. Yeah, thanks for sharing.
I'll jump in. Similar to Leanne, not having a pool to swim in every day was a challenge. So similar to everybody else, I like to get outside. I tried to get to the beach as much as I could and socially distance and just kind of be in my own little world. I have 4 dogs, so getting them outside and running them around has been a lot of fun. And then something I've rediscovered is reading. I like to get lost in a really good book, and I have found that I can sit down for hours on end now and just read. And I really miss that. So it was a blessing in disguise.
Yeah, there have been a few of those blessings in disguise throughout this. I think that's an important thing to reflect on through tonight.
I'll share. In thinking of how to keep a positive mindset from the get-go with all of this, and certainly like the other women, losing my gym space where I usually would be, thinking about getting up and really just getting any kind of movement in, whether it would be doing a 15-minute yoga routine or just mindfulness exercises, breathing exercises. I leaned into these new things that I really wasn't doing that much of before. And it helped me keep that positive mindset and a mindset that was of more gratitude and thinking everything that I'm grateful for while I'm doing these exercises really benefited me getting through day after day, staying inside in an apartment at some point, not being able to get out at times.
Yeah, Emily, I hear that big time. That has been it for me as well. Really trying to get back to meditating and making that a daily practice for me has been really helpful through this.
I'm going to go kind of piggyback on what Emily said. I teach a lot of yoga classes, and I've learned to try to practice what I preach. Before quarantine, I feel like my family and I are always moving at 100 miles an hour, and then everything came to a standstill. And in the beginning, I found myself doing a lot of like, I should be doing this, like a lot of should have statements. I should be producing and accomplishing things. And so I had to dial it back and accept a slower pace and a less busy schedule. And I have found, like Emily said, like such gratitude in that and the small things, and giving myself grace during this time that, it's so extraordinarily different than what we're used to, and just learning to be okay with that. And some days are way easier than others, but I'm really trying to think of the things that I teach in yoga, especially kindness to myself and to others, and just slowing down, taking a few good breaths and being grateful for like the small things, like walking your dog or, playing with the kids or just being outside. So I've really, really tried to embrace being grateful for those times.
Yeah, Maria, that's huge. I think just staying present.
Mm-hmm.
And not getting focused on what's going to happen or what has happened is really, really important right now. Yeah, thanks for sharing.
I'll jump in here. I echo a lot of what's already been said. I'm definitely a creature of habit, and so I was very much used to my routine. So I've tried to make really strong efforts to try new things. Leanne talked about virtual fitness classes, and I took that as an opportunity to try something that maybe I was a little apprehensive of trying in person. Getting outside has definitely helped me as well. Walking my dog, working outside, eating my lunch outside. Journaling has something else that I've been doing, which is very new for me. It's nothing I've ever really done before. And so taking that time to just like set aside a few minutes to like write down my thoughts and feelings and process those throughout this time has been really helpful as well.
Yeah, I totally agree with that, Burris. Thanks for sharing.
Cool. I'll wrap it up for us. A lot of what I've been able to do for myself, folks have already talked about getting outside for walks. The Alveolar Trail has been my favorite haunt. I love going there in the morning. Abby, I too have been able to rediscover reading. This is the most I've been able to read since grad school, which is awesome. I've been really, really happy to get back into that. Spending time with pets and loved ones and people who, when we're in that normal rat race, you don't normally necessarily have the time to spend with people the way that we have now, as long as you're doing it responsibly, of course. But one thing that I've really been able to do during quarantine that has kind of kept my sanity intact is getting back to being able to cook. When you work that 9 to 5 and you get home, you don't really want to spend the time cooking like a 1 or 2 hour meal and then having to clean up and everything. And God forbid you forget an ingredient and you have to go to the grocery store and everything. But now, we're home all day. And so I can go to the grocery store as many times as I need to, get all the stuff I need to. I can cook a meal as long as I need to. So I've been able to try a lot of new recipes, a lot of new techniques, and I've been really enjoying cooking for myself and my very few quarantine buddies I've been hanging out with.
That's awesome. Thanks for sharing, Brittany. So hopefully our audience can kind of reflect on this question as well and think about what it has been for them that's helped them get through these times. Something else I'd like to think about as we move into tonight's topic. We recognize that physical activity is only one aspect of wellness. There are many other dimensions to wellness. And while we're going to focus on that tonight, we want to recognize that there's much more that goes into our overall well-being. And it's important to focus on that as well, as our panelists have really touched on. So obviously COVID has really impacted and changed how we as an institute, how we as a country, and honestly, how we as a human race have operated. And these changes really have impacted us both professionally, personally, socially, all around. And we've certainly felt that here at Rec and PE. So as we move into some of our conversations, we want to talk about and acknowledge the fact that a lot of our community isn't able to utilize our services in person. They're not able to access our facilities. In a move to minimize the amount of outside traffic coming onto campus, the university has implemented a policy that restricts access to our facilities to only those living on campus. So for anyone that's living on campus, there's an activity fee that's been assessed that provides them access. Unfortunately, at this point, that's the only community that we're able to provide memberships to. We're working to open that up in the future. But we recognize that this is only a small portion of our community that we're able to directly serve. So we've made a lot of efforts to extend our services beyond campus, beyond Durham, and really beyond North Carolina to make ourselves accessible across the world. So Em, I'd love to hear a little more from you about what Duke Rec and PE has done and how we've adopted our operating procedures, the precautions and actions that we've taken to reopen our facilities successfully and safely.
Sure. So I'll start with facility access. As much as we want to see every student's beautiful smile, masks are required, just like they are everywhere on campus. The mask, when you're coming up to our desk, our front desk there, the mask must cover your nose and your mouth at all times, with the exception of a sip of water. The next access piece is it is reservation only for your workouts. We have to make sure that our capacity numbers stay at a safe percentage. So we do have reservation only time slots. The next facility access piece is the symptom monitoring. So your SymMon for short is required. It's an app. It's the Duke RedCap app. And it must be cleared for that particular day that you're coming in. So we expect you to show us that clearance. And lastly, just like in prior pre-COVID, your Duke ID is required to enter the facility. So whether that be on your card or your phone, you're tapping, so we don't need to grab anything or touch anything. And then with all of those happening, we will let you into the facility. To move on with some of our mitigation efforts for COVID, starting with cleaning, of course. We have enhanced our cleaning efforts tremendously. Our staff is doing routine touch points throughout all of the day that we're open, and we are doing heavy cleaning on all of the machines that are online in the weight room and the cardio area between each reservation time slot. So there's about 20 minutes in between most of the reservation time slots where our staff is taking the time to wipe down and disinfect every machine. Also, we have housekeeping. They are doing their fogging and they're cleaning the facility every night. We have a spot where during Monday through Friday where we are closed, and they are cleaning in the afternoon. They're fogging machines. Fogging is like an aerosol disinfectant that gets into the air and lands on everything in that area. So we have upped our game with cleaning. You will also find there's hand sanitation stations throughout the facility. And there's one in particular right in the weight room entrance that we will ask you to use as you come into the weight room and before you start working out. We also have wipe dispensers near all of our machines in the weight room and the cardio area. You'll see the wipe dispensers, and you'll also see spray bottles with our wipe dispensers. The spray bottles have great disinfectant in them, and they are to be sprayed on the wipes prior to leaving that machine. So you're going to be cleaning off your machine with the wipe and the spray from the spray bottle. Also, we have, I'll talk about some equipment layout because unfortunately, not all of our equipment is able to be online at the moment, but we do have about, I would say 70% of our equipment is online in the weight room. For our friends that were here, were at Wilson last semester, there's a little more pieces of equipment available. So be excited about that. We do have stickers on the online machines. So we use green checkmark stickers on our machines that are online. And you'll see the red X stickers that are marked for the offline equipment. We have about 15 machines available in our cardio area, and it's the same sticker system. You'll see those 15 machines are marked with the green check mark. We also have different green check marks throughout the weight room where you can even stand and you're in a very safe distance. Do, dumbbell curls, what have you. Also, we have a separate exit from our entrance. So that's to eliminate and decrease the chance of any cross-contamination, and it keeps the flow clean. And we'll have a staff member at our exit station to scan you out. You'll be able to actually self-scan, but they'll be there to make sure you're able to self-scan, and our capacity numbers are connected to those scan machines. So it'll log that as well. Talk about a clean getaway. Am I right?
Awesome. Thanks.
Am I right?
We appreciate that. So Abby, similar to Wilson, access is restricted to the pools. We only have Teshoff open. Can you talk about any additional measures that you all have taken as far as COVID restrictions for the pool?
Sure. So a lot of the stuff that we have implemented at Teshoff is similar to Wilson. We really worked hard to kind of match what the facility was doing. Mainly so it was consistent for everybody across the board. We were actually able to open back up in August, and we basically took time over the summer, which is odd for an aquatics person not to have like pools open during the summer and be knocked down busy. But we took the time to go through our operations manual line by line, and we wanted to make sure we didn't miss a thing. I think when you're reopening facilities, the details can get missed. So that was really helpful to us. We've implemented a lot of new cleaning procedures in the facility, on all our training equipment, all our guard equipment, everything alike. We've also implemented the symptom monitoring, similar to what Emily talked about. So when you do come to the facility, you have to show your symptom monitoring for that day. You have to have the magical green check mark for us to allow you in. We started out with the pool being open to one person per lane per reservation time, and we've cautiously opened that up to 2 per lane. We do now ask that patrons start on opposite ends of the pool. The guards are always on point about nobody stopping at the same end, so we're 6 feet apart, and we're doing all the social distancing that we can. We've put in COVID-specific protocol for symptom monitoring, like I talked about, for staff and patrons. We also have the reservation system, which I'm sure we'll talk about soon, but you have to reserve your space. It's not drop-in anymore. It's not first come, first serve, and where everybody fights for their lane. You know that if you reserve your space, you have a space and you will be able to swim. Currently, unlike most pools, we are not allowing equipment sharing just because we feel that disinfecting all of that equipment can get a little cumbersome, and we want to make sure that everybody's as safe as possible. So, but we do also encourage our patrons to bring kickboards, pool buoys, goggles, things like that. We will not store them at the pool for you, so please don't leave them for us. But you are able to bring your own. We have closed access to all the locker spaces, but there are showers and bathrooms available for you to rinse off before and after your swim. We do share the space with varsity swimming and diving, so that is kind of why our hours are a little limited right now, but we work closely with them to ensure that the facility is as clean as possible when they're using it, when we're using it, just so everybody is safe. And then lastly, We have our own separate entrance now. So if you're coming to the pool and the pool only, you're not going to go through Wilson anymore. You're going to go through the Hall of Fame entrance. One of our staff members will greet you at the door. We'll check your SIM We'll make sure you have your reservation. We'll talk to you, and then you'll be able to swim. So we hope to see you guys at the pool if you're living on campus. And if you're not, I hope to see you really, really soon because I miss all of you.
Awesome. Yeah, thanks for sharing. It's been a process getting our procedures in place to make sure that our facility is as safe as it can be. But our aquatics team, our facilities team has done a phenomenal job of this. Abby and Emily talked briefly about this, but if you are new or just returning to campus this semester, our reservation process is new. Check out our website, recreation.duke.edu. It walks you through the process. Super straightforward. Really good instructions there. Like I said, if you haven't messed around with that, it's a good opportunity. So as Abby and Emily touched on, we're restricted on who we can provide our facilities to. But in an effort to stay connected with our campus community and extend our services beyond campus, we've launched our digital membership. So this is a new offering for us. It's available to anyone for a semesterly fee. You don't have to be affiliated with Duke. You don't have to be in the United States. You don't have to be in North Carolina. Wherever you are in the world, you are eligible to purchase our digital membership. It does not provide access to our facilities, but it does give you access to all of our virtual offerings, which includes live group fitness classes, virtual personal training, and some small group programs. In addition, digital members will have access to our esports leagues and tournaments, and access to our digital library, which we're really excited about. This includes over 100 recorded workouts, such as HIIT, kickboxing, Pilates, yoga, Zumba, and plenty more. So if you're looking for an at-home resource or just looking for some motivation, that's a really good opportunity. They're all taught by our certified group fitness instructors or our personal trainers. So really phenomenal resource there. So kind of moving into the fitness side of things, Leanne, can you tell us a little bit about some of the resources that are available through Duke Rec to help maintain your physical activity, either at home or in person?
Yeah, definitely can. My computer is freezing up a little bit, so hopefully I'm clear. But so as Chris said, we have virtual and in-person offerings. So group fitness, first of all, we do both. We have 2 virtual classes that we offer every day, 4:30 and 5:30 p.m. We have Zoom Monday through Friday. And then on Saturday, it's earlier in the day. And then on Sunday, we have 2, 1 in the morning, 1 at night. But if you can't come to that, like Chris kind of mentioned, we have our digital library and we are excited about that. That's new and it's something we're going to keep going with and keep adding more resources to. But all of our classes kind of, if they're good quality, which most of them we've done pretty well with, they end up there. We also have a few classes that we're not teaching, but our instructors have decided to record some, like we have a belly dance, I think we have a hip hop, and they're not on our schedule, but they're going to be in the library. So you can kind of do a class whenever you feel like it. If you are on campus, we have in-person classes. We added another one this semester. So Monday through Thursday at 6 p.m. In person. And then on Saturday, we also have an in-person class in the morning. I think that one is at 10:15. So we'll be inside right now because it's a little chilly outside, but as the weather gets a little nicer, we'll move back outdoors like we were doing in the fall. We also have some pop-up classes, so kind of pay attention to see if you want to follow us on Instagram at Duke Rec. We'll announce those pop-ups every week. We'll do some spin classes and just some fun classes that might not be on our schedule. So that's what we have for group fitness. Personal training, we always have personal training, but now we've added virtual. You do have to have the digital membership in order to do that, but you can do virtual training. I will say that at first it sounds a little not as fun or engaging to do it, but our clients that are doing personal training virtually are actually loving it and they keep coming back. They've said they're surprised at how much they enjoyed it and it's kind of keeping them going. So we have that. And we also have an option for a monthly program. This is new for us. So you can pay, it's a little bit cheaper than training, and do just kind of a check-in with one of my personal trainers. They'll write you up a program for the month, check in at the beginning, middle, and end, and just kind of keep you on task with that. So we have those options. We're also offering, if you're on campus, a new small group program this semester for the first time. It's called Back to Fit, little take on Back to the Future. Our idea here is to hopefully show students what we used to have, like our popular programs from pre-COVID that we don't have right now. And then that's what you get to look forward to when hopefully COVID's over and we're back to some a semblance of normal. So that's coming as well. I think that's what we got.
Thanks, Leanne. And Maria, similar to our group fitness or our fitness program, PE has made a lot of efforts to make classes accessible, both in person and virtually. Can you talk a little bit about how our PE classes have been adapted to deliver the course curriculum safely and effectively?
I would love to. We happily in the fall were able to deliver our lecture and activity classes in health, wellness, and PE. We have had in-person classes, and we also offer online only. And it went great in the fall, and we're excited that we have a really full spring semester coming up. If you are interested in or are signed up for an in-person class, all of the safety parameters that Emily and Leanne and Abby have already shared with you are all in place. We are using a lot of different spaces in Wilson. We use the studios and we use the basketball courts. And we also go outside when the weather is permitting, and everyone's on board with getting outside and getting outside of the gym. Masks are required when they are in the facility during the class. If you were to take a class in the studio or in the basketball court, you'll see spaces marked out where you will put your things. When students come into class, you're expected to clean all of the equipment, and all of that cleaning equipment is provided there for you. You have the class, you have a great time, and then afterwards, everyone cleans up their equipment and then exits the way that Emily described. If you take a class that requires a mat, mats are provided, but it's also recommended if you wanted to bring your own. So those classes went so well last fall, and my colleagues that are teaching in person are excited to be welcoming students back soon. There are some of us though in the department, like myself, that are teaching online classes. And so I just want to talk a little bit about that. And it's funny because sometimes when I tell my friends like, oh, I'm teaching online PE classes, they're like, what, how do you do that? And I'm going to tell you. So there are certain classes that lend themselves to online learning maybe a little more easily than others. Like for example, yoga, pretty easy. If you have a space in your home, in your dorm, you can roll out a mat, a towel, and we do yoga through Zoom. Not a lot of equipment is involved. But for some of the other classes like fusion fitness, or I taught weight training last semester, we had to get a little more creative. And I was so proud of my students. At the beginning of the semester, we would brainstorm on what equipment we could use, because not everybody has weights and gym equipment readily available in their dorms and apartments. So some of my students discovered that they could drink milk. And when they finished their big milk, they would fill it up with water, and they could fill it up halfway or all the way. And that suddenly became a great weight. Could be like a kettlebell. I had students who, like, their roommates would drink half a gallon, a whole gallon, and then they had a whole set of weights, which is really cool. I had students lifting laundry detergent, like Big Tide, right? That worked really well. Heavy water bottles, hydro flasks perhaps filled up. I had students lifting things from their pantry, like big bags of rice, jars of spaghetti. And it worked. And it wasn't perfect, no, but it worked. I think, kind of like the discussion we had at the beginning of being grateful and discovering things maybe that we wouldn't otherwise be doing. We all, first of all, had a good sense of humor about it all, right? But we discovered that we really can move and exercise really wherever we are, right? So if you just kind of shift your mindset and be like, all right, I know I don't have like a whole squat rack here, right? But I do have a book bag, and I can put books into it, and all of a sudden that's kind of heavy, and I can do squats and overhead press, deadlifts. So it worked. And one of the nice things about the online option is that we had students participating from all over the world. And so I had students in my yoga class that were in Turkey and India, and then in California, and then locally too. So I hope that if you're taking a class that you have a really positive experience this semester, whether in person or online. And there are some classes that still have openings and space. And so if you look on Sakai, you'll see that there still are some online classes that have some space if you'd like to join us. So thanks for being here. Can't wait to see you all.
Awesome. Thanks for sharing, Maria. How resourceful. That's super cool. So just like the rest of the world, the sports world has really been turned upside down with impacts from COVID. And, we're seeing professional athletes living in a bubble all the way to student athletes not being able to compete at all. We've got seniors who, possibly can't compete in their final season. And it's been a really challenging year to say the least. Here at Duke, we've really established a strong culture of sport on campus, both formal and informal, and it's provided a significant benefit to our students. So both Brittany's, I'd love if you all could talk a little bit about, from your perspective and what you've observed, how have sports been or served as a physical and a mental benefit or an outlet for students?
Yeah, I can start us off. So intramural sports are a great way for students to compete against other students on campus through organized leagues and tournaments. We're inclusive to all kinds of athletes, whether that's competitive or recreational nature. And it's just a fun way to stay active and healthy. But beyond that, it's obviously very beneficial in several different ways. There's the social aspect of getting to meet new people on campus and building team camaraderie and, that social aspect. But there's also been a lot of research done to go beyond that, where, participating in intramural sports increases your overall academic performance. There are higher student retention rates. It really reduces your stress and just gives you an overall positive experience and overall satisfaction with your college experience. I can speak a lot about my own personal experiences. My involvement in intramural sports led me to my career ultimately. So I see a lot of the benefits, even, not working in intramural sports. If I were to do a different career, there are so many different tangible skills that you can take outside of, participating in sports. And so, yeah, I'll let Brittany talk about sport clubs.
Yeah. So unlike intramurals, sport clubs are a little bit different in the sense that you are going to have a team that you're going to be practicing with anywhere between 1 to 4 times a week. And then these teams are going to other schools and they're competing against other schools anywhere between once a month to almost every weekend. And so sport clubs are a really phenomenal way to meet different people on campus, make a community, not only within your club, but within the sport club program as a whole. And so aside from Greek life, the sport club program is the largest organization at Duke. We have about 1,300 participants. And within that group of participants, we have 34 different clubs. So there really is something for everybody. One of the cool things about our clubs too is that it's no experience necessary. And so you don't need to have been playing for years and years to come out and join a club and to meet a community and a group of folks that you connect with on campus. All of our clubs are going to teach you how to play, and then you're going to be able to join that community right away. Like the other Brittany, I came up through sport clubs when I was in undergrad. I played sports all through high school, was not good enough to be a varsity athlete, but it was still really important to me. So I found sport clubs in undergrad, and that was really, really the highlight of my career. Aside from going to classes, you definitely need something. I know that students at Duke are very academically driven, and you should be, absolutely. That's what you came to Duke for, but you also need a healthy balance. And so sport clubs is a great way to have fun with people that you enjoy spending time with and doing an activity that you like to do. So I found that through sport clubs, and like Brittany, also found my career, and here I am now doing what I love to do. So yeah, if you're interested in joining one of the clubs, definitely touch base with us afterwards. We can get you more information.
Yeah, thanks for sharing. And I know it's been really challenging for for you all and your staff, as much as it has been for the students to not be able to program this year. And I'm sure you all feel that, but could you share maybe just some advice or some encouragement that you would have for intramural participants or sport club members on how they can stay connected and engaged during these times?
So a lot of what intramural sports is currently doing now and currently offering is focusing on that increase in virtual socialization and helping students to maintain a connection to the Duke community. We have several virtual opportunities that we've been programming, such as esports, like Chris mentioned earlier. We've done a few online game tournaments, fantasy sports, team trivia virtually to kind of bring that team aspect back into the virtual world. And we also have a Rec and PE Strava group that is a great way to connect with people that are wanting to be active and, get back to some sort of routine, so to speak. We recognize that all of our participants are facing challenges and things have definitely been difficult during this time. And we miss y'all just as much as y'all miss us. But obviously safety is our top priority and it always will be. But some other ways that you can stay connected and, engaged during this time, some things that kind of also helped me is trying to develop a routine. I mentioned earlier, I'm a creature of habit. So I really try to use my calendar feature in my Microsoft email to kind of plan out when I want to go for a workout or a walk or something. Actively seek and join a group. I mentioned our Rec and PE Strava group. That's a great way to stay socially connected and then also get outdoors and engage during the day. Like I said, go outside. Everyone on here has talked about going outside and how helpful that can be. And don't stop doing what you enjoy. Anything can be done by yourself or done safely. So just try to adjust and don't quit doing what you enjoy. I also think it's really important, and this is kind of shifting gears a little bit, but I think it's important to also disconnect for a day. That's something that I've also tried really hard to do to maintain my mental and physical health. So,
from a sport club perspective, we were unable to operate in the fall. We don't have official word on what the spring will look like yet, but we were 100% virtual in the fall, which does not, as Maria kind of alluded to before, that's one of those things that it's surprising to hear that it's happening virtually. For any student who's interested in joining sport clubs, know that just because there was not in-person operation, it doesn't mean that the clubs were not still maintaining community, doing workouts, staying together. Leanne is the coach for our women's basketball club. She led her team in a group workout once a week. Other clubs are still getting together and doing, virtual hangouts, watching movies virtually together, doing virtual workouts together. Our club coaches are still writing up workout plans that folks are joining Strava groups just like they are in intramurals to keep track of their goals. This is also a great time if you have individual fitness, sport-based goals and you are on campus, come into the facility, work out, start lifting, get a personal trainer, start going to those group fitness classes too, so that you can, on your own, do the best that you can to help out your team in the long run. It is definitely a different world right now for athletics. And so it's been fun to navigate, we'll say that. But there are always opportunities to get connected virtually. And so please keep an eye out for those opportunities to chat with the clubs and see what they're doing on an individual basis to find out what community within our programs are going to work best to support you through this time, because this is also a great time to join new communities as well.
Yeah, thank you both for sharing. We really appreciate that. So as we move through the semester as a department, we're going to continue to offer virtual programs. We're getting very creative as a staff on the programs that we can offer so that we can stay connected and help keep our community engaged. But we're also aware that there's a demand for in-person programs. And so we continue to evaluate that. We continue to work very closely with the university. And if we get the go ahead to offer some small small group in-person programs, we're going to have the plans in place to be able to do that safely and effectively. and in accordance to the Duke Compact. So certainly if you're on campus, stay connected, follow us on social media, check out that digital membership, stay engaged as much as you can. So we've all touched on this, but the outdoors are actually, our last Rec Talk was on the power of the outdoors. And this has been more relevant now than I think it really has ever been. And people are really building a connection to the outdoors, or maybe reconnecting to the outdoors, or certainly making that more of a priority. Here in Durham, we've seen pretty significant increase in the usage of our local trails, our parks, and our greenways, which is really exciting. These resources are here to be utilized, and we're really seeing that. In some cases, we're even seeing some impacts from overuse and overcrowding, which certainly is a sign of the times. But TJ, can you tell us a little bit about how you've seen COVID impacting outdoor recreational spaces, and talk a little bit more about some of the resources we have available to keep folks connected to the outdoors?
Yeah, so Chris, as you talked about, since March, a lot of people are turning to the outdoors because things are shut down, and that is the only place you can go outside of your house and the grocery store, right? So I think people are really realizing like the power of the outdoors to refresh, rejuvenate, and restore, right? These people who say, oh, like I'm not outdoorsy, going on a hike, you don't have to be quote unquote outdoorsy, to go on a hike. You can still get the benefits that nature has to offer. So our new resource that we have that I'm really excited about since the whole shutdown, we have personal trip plans for, I think we currently have we have 31 locations for a variety of activities. So we have hiking, paddling, overnight car camping, backpacking, and a few historic Durham locations as well. And these are free. So currently they're on MyRec, but they will soon be transferred over to our website. So really easy access. And they have all the information that you need before you go out. So it has the location, address, and the coordinates. It has emergency contact information for like the nearest hospital and emergency facilities. It has a packing list, like what do I need to pack if I'm going canoeing? The location information, such as facilities, are there bathrooms there? Is there water? What the parking's like? Is there a visitor center? It has rules and regulations of the area. They have like a risk management plan of what things to look out for when you are outside, because if you are new to the outdoors, they can be intimidating. So hopefully these plans will help ease some of that intimidation. And then the best part about these trip plans is there are recommendations from beginner to intermediate to advanced. So like, okay, I'm looking to go on less than a mile hike. You can look at a trip plan and look at the map and find a highlighted trail that you can hike on. And so we are currently in the process of expanding these to outside the Durham area. But again, we have 31 different locations with a variety of activities, and they're free. Please check them out. I'm really excited about them. They're really great. Something else we offer are our equipment rentals. So if you want to go out, explore the outdoors, but you don't have your own equipment, you can rent it from us. So we have camping gear, everything from sleeping bags and pads, stoves, cook sets, coolers, camp chairs. We have backpacking gear, backpacks, backpacking stoves and cook sets. And then climbing, we have crash pads and climbing shoes. And then our watercraft rentals. So when it warms up, I know it's been cold and I've been missing that warm weather, although today was beautiful. We have stand-up paddleboards, canoes, and surfboards. And so All the equipment that you need comes with them, as well as everything you need to attach it to your vehicle. And as long as you don't have a convertible, we can get that equipment attached to your vehicle. So we will help you walk through the steps to get it set up. And again, you have those trip plans for places to go and paddle and take the canoe or stand-up paddleboard out. So equipment reservations can be made on myrec.duke.edu, and we asked for 72 hours notice before your pickup time, just so we can pull the equipment and get it ready. And then Rec and PE members do receive a discount on equipment rentals, but they are affordable for whether you are a member or you're not a member.
Yeah, awesome. TJ, one of the questions that came in from our audience was about some of our local trails. So to answer the first part of the question, yes, all of the trails around campus are open. So the East Campus Loop, Albular Trail, the Duke Forest. The Duke Forest has actually remained open throughout the entire pandemic, which has been a phenomenal resource for folks living locally. But this person's wondering what the process is to use these trails safely. And I would expand that, maybe anybody that's looking to go maybe on a trip, what advice would you have for utilizing these outdoor spaces safely?
Yeah, well, specifically for the campus trails, it is required that you wear a mask at all times. And so that is kind of I think the most important part of planning a trip, whether it's a day hike, you're going 15 minutes from your house, or an overnight, is the first principle of leave no trace, is plan ahead and prepare. So Leave No Trace, if you're not familiar, is a nonprofit outdoor ethics organization that promotes people getting outside but enjoying the outdoors responsibly. And so that plan ahead and prepare of looking at the area and looking at the rules and regulations, especially COVID rules and regulations, because each city, each county, each area has different regulations. So making sure that you research that before you go out. I can speak to, I know the Duke campus, you have to wear your mask at all times while you're recreating on campus. But yeah, so to get back to like being prepared to go out, especially if you're newer to the outdoors, planning ahead and preparing means you have researched the area, you're ready for an emergency, you're ready for the weather, you have the right equipment, you have some food and water. You've told someone where you're going and when you plan on returning, just in case something happens. And you've planned for the best, but prepared for the worst. And I always like to say, if you fail to plan, you plan to fail. And yeah, just making sure that you're ready to go out, whether it's 10 minutes away or you're doing a multi-night.
Spoken like a true outdoor professional. Awesome. Thanks, TJ. Another question I wanted to throw back to Emily and Abby. So folks that maybe aren't living on campus that are looking to utilize other pools or other fitness centers, real quickly, what advice would you have for folks to do that safely?
Want me to go first, Ab? All right. So first of all, I would make sure that you are wearing a mask at all times, no matter what fitness center you're going to. I think it's, as we all know now, it's so important to wear your mask. And if you need to take a sip of water, pull your mask down, take the sip, pull your mask back up above your nose. Another thing would be trying to keep your hands off of your face. So when you're working out, you tend to wipe sweat and or touch, I mean, you can touch any eyes, anything. Try and keep your hands off of your face to not contact any germs that way. Maybe get a paper towel to wipe your eyes if sweat gets in your eyes, something like that. Another thing, I would bring an extra mask if you're going to do some intense cardio, because sometimes, as we know, we sweat, and your mask might get wet with sweat. So it might be worth bringing that extra mask so you can be comfortable when you're doing something else, when you leave, when you go somewhere else from there. Another thing would be making sure you bring your own water bottle. Specifically at our facilities and many other facilities, we don't allow drinking from the water fountain to eliminate the germ contamination with that. So bring your water bottle, you can fill it up at the water fountain and be safer that way. Like Maria mentioned, bringing your own mat might be something you want to look into, whether it's a yoga mat or exercise mat. That would be beneficial to eliminate germ contamination as well. I'll let Abby chime in.
Thanks, Em. I'll echo everything Em said. Wear the mask, follow the rules, follow the procedures. I think aquatic centers are a great place for people to go work out. They're really safe. Aquatics professionals in general put a lot of thought and effort into safety in general, like I said. But there are, extra sanitizing chemicals like chlorine that just happen to be always around. So I would do your research though, look at all your rec centers and find the one that makes you comfortable and makes you feel like I'm safe in this area. Aquatics professionals love when you ask us questions, ask us about our policies and procedures. We put a lot of time and effort into these policies. Let us talk about them. And then shameless plug for an aquatic mask that is just amazing. It's called the Watermen Mask. You can wear it up until you get in the water. Please do not wear a mask when your face is underwater. But you can wear that mask up until you get in the water, and right when you get out, they're made of material that are designed to get wet. So even when I work out, I wear them because they're really kind of sweat resistant. But like I said, aquatic centers, they're amazing. And check them out in your area because they were one of the first rec centers type things that were allowed to be opened.
Yeah, that's really cool. I had no idea that was a thing. Awesome. I want to ask one last question. I know we're running short on time, but I'll open this for Leanne and Maria. What advice would you have for folks to keep active that don't have access to a gym? Not everybody has a space near them or has the funds, to cover a membership. So in a couple words, what would you say? What advice would you throw out there?
Want me to go first, Maria? I think somebody said earlier, and just move. It's all about trying something new right now and just move. One thing I've told people is, hey, turn the music on and dance. Something I do pre-COVID and during COVID, but I have dance parties all the time at home. It's fun. It makes you laugh if no one's watching, right? Same with these online workouts. I always say, if the cameras are off, if you can leave your camera off, try something new, get yourself out of that comfort zone. But in the end, just find ways to move your body.
Mm-hmm.
That's funny.
I like that.
I agree, of course, with Leanne. Yeah, just get up and get going. I think one of the things we used to tell people is like, find a buddy to work out with, but that's hard to do with COVID and quarantining, but you still could FaceTime somebody, right? So reach out to a friend and be like, all right, we're going to there's so much fitness content out there right now. So either digital membership through us and lots of stuff out on other platforms, but get a buddy virtually, and just say, we're going to go for a walk together and we're going to talk, on our phones, or set it up and do a class together online, just get creative, right? And know that hopefully it's still just temporary, and we'll get back to, being in person eventually.
Yep. Awesome. Well, thank you all so much. Thanks to our audience for being here. Just again, stay in touch. Keep your eye out for future RecTalks. We'll have another one next month. And then keep your eye out for some of our exciting virtual programs that we're going to be offering this spring, including our Rec and PE Bingo, which is going to be a super cool way to explore the area, explore some of our offerings. And you don't have to be in the area or in the state to do it. So yeah, thanks for being here. Thanks to our panelists. And we hope to see you all around sometime soon. See you.